So a couple of days ago, I was just looking at my old Rube Goldberg machine, the first one, and I noticed how it was pretty simple. I mean, there's just a bunch of dominoes, and then there's a marble, and then there's a cart, and then there's a bunch of seesaws, and then a marble again, which in the end just lifts up a Rubik's Cube like a little bit. And I felt like I could really do better than that. So that's why I built this new Rube Goldberg machine. I even noticed how the old one didn't really have a proper start to it. You just had to push the dominoes with your hand, and in the end, it didn't really lift up the Rubik's Cube, it just like brought it up a little bit. So this time I've made sure that like it has a proper start and end to it, and a proper purpose too. This time it helps you not have things stolen by thieves. Yeah, that's its purpose. Okay, guys, so what you just saw was my new Rube Goldberg machine, the Intruder Detruder 3000. So now let's go into exactly how this works and what the processes are. Okay, so first is the tripwire. I've taped it to the side of the door and then like moved it along till here. So I use one metal hook over here and one Lego hole thingy over here to make sure to act as two pulleys. So when the tripwire is pulled, this flips over and releases this wheel. I've added these two sticks on either side of the wheel because that makes it more stable apparently. I tried using just the tire and it just fell around everywhere. And then that hits this L-shaped looking thing, more like a T-shaped looking thing. It basically goes forward like that and pushes this wheel off of its elevation holding thing. Now because one of the wheels has a smaller radius than the other, it moves like in a semicircle and triggers the next one, which then creates a chain reaction and then pushes this, which then starts the dominoes and all that. The last three dominoes are actually larger, with the largest one looking like this. It's got this sharp nose so that it can just hit down on this part. Now this being hit down causes this marble here to be released. Yeah, so the moment the marble falls into this basket, this entire thing just moves this way and releases this cart from here to here, and it also releases this marble from where it was, causing it to go down this rail and then hit the dominoes, which in the end releases the marbles. So the entire Rube Goldberg machine took a week to make, and I faced lots of difficulties along the way. I'm just going to show you the three main ones that I faced. So the first and the biggest one was setting these wheels on these platforms. It took like half an hour to set all the wheels properly because, well, first off, these kept moving around and you had to keep them in the right place each and every time. Make sure they don't move around. I solved that by just taping everything to the ground, so that got solved pretty fast. Another problem was just placing this in the right way each and every time. It had to be right on the edge but not falling off. If it was too stable, then even with the help of these, it would not fall off. I did it physically now, so that doesn't count. But yeah, it just wouldn't fall off earlier. And if I placed it too far away, it would just fall off. And the worst part is it wouldn't fall off immediately. It would fall off like a minute or two after. By then I would have already set up the rest of the wheels, so the whole thing would just get ruined. So that's one big problem that I faced. I just got around it by just like, because of the number of times I had to set it up, I just started remembering it, I guess. Yeah. Another problem that I faced was with this. I don't think you guys got a really good look at this during the whole process, but basically it's kind of like a pendulum, just like swings back and forth. When one domino hits it on one end, it just moves and then hits the next one. Yeah, I just like it a lot, which is why I put it. It has no actual value or anything. It looked really nice, so I put it. Now the problem with this was that it wasn't really moving as smoothly as it is now. It just kept getting stuck and all that. So I solved that by using these plus axles, these plus shaped axles. Those really solved the problem for me. Yeah, this is actually not that big of a problem for me. I mean, it didn't last long, is what I mean to say. So yeah. Another big one that I faced was with the last step, where the largest domino just goes and pushes the marbles off and releases them. The problem was with like 30 marbles in the cup. The cup just became pretty stable and stuff. So even with this domino pushing, it just wouldn't move. So I solved that by using this wedge over here. I just placed it right on the edge of tipping over and falling, so that when the moment this would hit, it would just fall off. I also added these smooth things so it wouldn't just get stuck against these ridges or whatever it is you call them. But yeah, so that's how I solved these problems. There were of course many more difficulties, but I won't go into all that right now. So yeah. So now before we go any further, I just want to clarify something. A lot of people have tended to ask me about why I designed my dominoes like this instead of just using a traditional cuboid, why I attach this thing at the bottom like this. Well, I've actually found that this is more efficient than using a traditional domino. I'll just explain why. So let's just assume I'm setting up my dominoes, and while doing so I just like slip and drop it or something. It automatically just stops after some time and prevents the whole thing from crashing. So I can just remove that part and then set it up again. On the other hand, if I push it forwards, then it just easily just falls off. So that actually makes it really efficient, and that's why I like using it a lot. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to do but couldn't was actually use water in this whole thing. So what I wanted was the tripwire would, I don't know, tip a glass of water over like that, and then water would spill into this pulley like thingy, and that would just cause the weight to go down, and one box would like come up and then push this down, which would trigger the reaction. But we tried that and this water just spilled everywhere, nothing worked. Yeah, I didn't take a video of that and I'm not gonna try it again. I'm gonna get grounded if I try that, so let's move on. So the main thing I liked about this Rube Goldberg machine was that it really helped me understand.
Show us the bloopers.
What? You're not allowed to talk.
But I want to see the bloopers.
There are no bloopers. It just worked on the first try.